Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. We are back with another United Daily Live. It is Monday. Hope you guys are doing well. This is obviously our late night edition of United Daily Live in the week. It's the only day where we go live at 10:30 p.m. UK time. That is, of course, if you're watching live. If you're not watching live and you're one of the hundreds or thousands that tune in after we have been live, then thank you very much for tuning in. Make sure you're back every single day. As I said, Tuesday to Sunday we are here at 12 p.m. and on Monday we are here at 10:30 p.m. UK time. And today we're looking at the Project Restart latest and the potential, return of football in June. And the first step of that is going ahead this week with Premier League clubs returning to training and United back in training on Wednesday, it is looking like. And of course, we're looking at the other news linking James Garner with a move to Sheffield Wednesday on loan for next season. And of course, United being linked with Jude Bellingham's brother as well, Joby Bellingham, who's 2 years younger than the very young Jude Bellingham. So United could be trying to entice Jude and his family to Old Trafford by saying, we'll take your brother as well, move your whole family from Birmingham to Manchester, bring them up north, and we'll have both of the lads in the academy system and Jude in the first team. So that's what we're looking at today here on AdamMcKola TV, and we're looking at anything else you guys want us to discuss. So make sure you're getting your links, your questions, your news, what rumours or whatever you want us to discuss here on AdamMcKola TV, and we'll get discussing them as well. I can already see a few of the members are in the house as well. Paul B, Sean Ralph, Arkleg Janda, Production, and of course Nim IG. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us on AdamMcKola TV and becoming members as well. We've recently hit over 50 members. We're now targeting 100 by the end of June. Can we hit that target? We've got 46 or 47 to go. If you can join, get hitting that join button. If you can't, make sure you subscribe because we're trying to hit 100,000 ASAP. Recently we hit 71,000, so thank you to everyone that's helped us do that. I can see Mark, Vinny, well hello there, Mr. Sal, Vinny, again, sorry, Dre Smith in the house, and Mikey Smith has just joined us as well. So thank you to you guys for tuning in, and Ahmed, hope you're doing well. So we're looking at the latest news regarding the Premier League, and the Premier League clubs today and of course the stakeholders had a meeting where they were discussing the return to training and all that kind of thing, and all of the clubs, or well, there was enough for a vote to go ahead for the clubs to say we will return to training this week. So that's what looks like is going on at the minute. The clubs are beginning to return to training. Now they have to put certain things into place. Some will have already done so, and some will need to put those kind of things into place for a return to training. There's going to be inspections as well from Project Restart, from the Premier League. They're going to be using GPS data. They're going to be using video data. The players aren't allowed to train for more than 75 minutes. It has to be in smaller groups than the full squad. There's certain various rules to this. I believe it's non-contact training from the start in small groups from Tuesday. So these are the things that we're looking at. The United could train tomorrow, but as of yet it looks like we're probably going to return to training on Wednesday. There's been no decision made for us to go into training tomorrow. Of course, that may have changed in the last couple of hours since these reports come out, but it's looking like United will be back in training on Wednesday. We've already seen pictures of the likes of Anthony Martial, Pogba, Jesse Lingard, Victor Lindelof training together. Daniel James, Scott McTominay, Luke Shaw training together. We've seen various groups of the lads having a little training sessions, but now it's looking like they're going to have random groups going in and out of Carrington, probably groups of 5, I believe it is. Again, that brings its own difficulties because while you are returning to training and probably getting, building up some form of fitness and sharpness and using the football again and having that camaraderie of seeing some of your teammates and the coaching staff and things like that, you're not playing full contact, full 11-a-side football. You're not having a full proper training session with the tackles flying in. So you're not really getting adjusted to actual football. And with there being, spot checks and inspections and surprise visits and all these kind of things going on, the clubs have to adhere to these rules. I'll read the article that is relating to these surprise inspections, which has come out on the BBC. And we're saying surprise inspections, GPS tracking, and video analysis are methods that safety could be used to ensure. That could be used to ensure clubs adhere to new safety guidance as they prepare for the resumption of the Premier League. Teams agreed to start non-contract training in small groups from Tuesday. United possibly looking at doing that from Wednesday. Gradually, we aim to ramp that up so we can have an inspector at every training ground, said Richard Garlick, the league's director of football. That will enable us to give confidence to the protocols are being complied with. We are looking at bringing in our own independent audit inspection team that will scale up over the next few days, which will give us the ability to have inspections at training ground to start with on a no-notice basis. So they will be implementing these no-notice inspections of training grounds to ensure that these clubs are adhering to the guidelines that are in place. We will try to do it unless it wasn't possible because of safety concerns, he went on to say. Now, what I would say is that if it's unsafe for them to train, and it's unsafe for them, to train in groups, and you need to be inspecting training grounds to ensure that these guys are adhering to rules, even though we can't stop Callum Hudson-Odoi from having random rendezvous at 4 a.m. in the morning. We can't stop Jack Grealish from going out to little parties. We can't stop, Lacazette from getting on the blue. We can't stop various things going on. And if you can't trust individual players and you can't trust individual clubs, when it comes down to actual competition, and in a month's time or whatever, there being football and these teams being expected to be in battle, you can imagine someone thinking, why should I be competing with someone like Callum Hudson-Odoi when he can't even, he's having random visitors at his house? How many other footballers are doing that? You can understand if some of these players were thinking, well, actually, I don't want to play. I can't be asked to get involved with this. I can't trust our opposition. And if the league can't trust the clubs to implement these things, then surely that's alarm bells are already ringing in terms of football going ahead in the first place. Anything been said about the FA Cup? Said Matt W. He said, surely if it's safe to play the Premier League, it's safe to play the FA Cup. I've not read confirmation of this, but I read a rumour a few weeks ago that it could be cancelled. Let me just see if you just do a Google search of FA Cup, what comes up in terms of the news. Let's have a butcher's. You don't really see any news into whether it's going to go ahead. It's all just classic days, this, that and the other. I suppose that would probably be the last thing to be sorted. You see that they're looking at, UEFA doing the Europa League and Champions Leagues and sorting those out in August. So you're looking at possibly they're giving time for these league campaigns to be resolved, because that's the most important thing. And then they'll deal with everything else. But I'd hate for the FA Cup. Like, they try and say that United disrespected the FA Cup in 2000 when we went to the Club World Cup. And they try and label that at United's door and say that that was our fault, even though there was pressure from the FA and pressure from the government for United to participate in that, so it could help with the World Cup bid. They try and say we disrespect it through that. If you're just going to toss it all off completely, who's disrespecting it then? Especially if you've set the precedent of having the league return. If you're having the league return, how much harder is it to add on? What was it, down to the last 8? We had Norwich in the last 8. How is it hard to finish? So you got 4 games there, then you got 2 semi-finals and a final, 7 games. If you can do these 9 Premier League game weeks, 90 games or whatever it is, surely you can do the 7 matches that it takes to complete an FA Cup. Because it's the greatest cup competition in the world, is it? I love it. I love the FA Cup. John says, with the high level of false negative results on people that have been infected or are infected, that are symptomless, I'm really not sure it's safe for the games to go ahead, says John Gallagher. Again, I'm not too sure on the exact science of the thing, but again, if that's true and that's something that I've read as well, then that would be a worry too. Champions League not going kills City chances, says Ross Murphy. What's happening with PSG playing in the Champions League, says Mo. I think last week, because obviously we had the French League, which was cancelled or scrapped pretty much. They're not going to play any more football. And with that happening, they're going to have to play their games abroad, it seems, or somewhere else. So it could be the possibility of that happening. But again, it depends when it is, doesn't it? I believe in France there's no sport until September at the very earliest, if I remember correctly. So if that's the case, that's past the deadline that the UEFA have set for the Champions League to be resolved and finished. So they'll have to play their games elsewhere. It could just be one game though. You don't know if they get knocked out or not. What about League 1 and 2 teams that don't have fitness because those leagues are cancelled, says Yagantharan. Well, it'd be looking like League 1 and League 2 are aiming to get the leagues going ahead for next. It's really bizarre. Look, I know the Premier League and the Football League are separate bodies. In that, the Premier League govern themselves and the Football League govern themselves, but they are linked. They're part of the same football pyramid, and it's bizarre for me that you'd cancel them but not cancel anything else. But there's no talk about them going ahead. It's obviously the financial ramifications of the Premier League being halted, the TV money, the jobs lost, etc., etc. They're being put into a position where they need to go ahead with this, for better or for worse. Let us know your thoughts on all of that. This week we're also hearing James Garner could be set for a loan move away to Sheffield United. Sheffield Wednesday. Dean Anderson's at Sheffield United. But there's been talk that Jimmy Garner could be moving to Sheffield Wednesday on loan. Championship side Sheffield Wednesday. It'd be a decent level for him to be playing at. Obviously, any loan moves a risk if they change manager or anything, and then you're left in the lurch. And there's always a danger with loan moves. But Jimmy Garner's someone that's been showing class at under 23 level. We want to see him being given opportunities at Manchester United. We want to see him, get the chance there. But the likelihood is with McTominay, with Fred, with Matic sticking around, with Pogba possibly sticking around, that's looking likely. Bruno being bought. With these midfielders that we now have, his game times obviously, or his opportunity for game time is going to be massively reduced. So for him, first team football at this moment is important. We don't want to see him stagnating in an under 23 level, which is something that can happen. I think under 23 levels good up until a certain degree. When you get to that point where you kind of need first team football, but the squad's not quite there yet, you can't find a breakthrough, playing in the 23s isn't doing anything for you. And I think Jimmy Garner going away, maybe getting some minutes on loan would be good for him. For next season, like let's say if it was a normal season which starts in August, I wouldn't mind keeping him, for the early part where you've got League Cup games and you've got international breaks every 3 weeks, and you can keep him in the squad and then maybe send him away in January on loan. Because you can try and you never know how far you get in the League Cup, Europa League, Champions League, European competition. Could use him in there. What if you get a few injuries? He could be used. Because he is that close to the first team, do you know what I mean? It's not like he's miles away. And I think one injury or two injuries to some of those midfield players like we had this season, and he's right in there. But again, it's important for his development that he's getting first team football, whether that's at Man United or not. Sean says loan moves for guys like Garner and Chong can potentially be the making of them. Look what it's done for Dean Henderson. What's your starting 11 against Spurs? Can't even really talk about that. Obviously, we look at having Pogba and Rashford back. If that's the case, geez, you're looking at, Fred or McTominay or Matic. The form Matic was in, you'd probably go with Matic. But McTominay came back, had that goal against City. Fred's been playing well. You play one of them. You play Bruno. You play Pogba. Rashford, Marshall. You could even play a diamond, go with Matic, McTominay, Matic, Fred, Pogba, and Bruno with Rashford and Marshall up top. You could even do that, or any combination in a diamond. But you're looking at probably a 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, and you're going with Pogba, Bruno, Martial, Rashford, um, Danny James on the right maybe. I'm not going to predict the game right now. Mark says, who do you rate higher, Garner or Levitt? Garner to me, but Levitt is very, very talented. And that's probably because I've seen more of Garner. But Levitt is very talented. Oh, shattered today. Let me tell you, I've been watching The Last Dance. Which was good. I finished that off today, so that's a bit gutting when you finish any good series. That was good stuff. I obviously did the Premier League Gazette earlier. There was chatting to Jay and Steve on the old Sky Peru. It's been a long day for a day that has been in lockdown, obviously. In lockdown, it's not really a long day when you're stuck behind closed doors, is it? But you know what I mean. Any more questions, any more thoughts? Get your thoughts in right now. United have also been linked with Jude Bellingham's brother, Job Bellingham. Maybe it's a move to get him into Manchester United. If we can get Jude, get his brother, bring the whole family up to Manchester, maybe give his dad a job as well, get his mum a job. They can be scouts or something. Mourinho must be fuming. He has no transfer budget, says Hilton. That's all going to blow up in his face very, very soon. We should win comfortably, but knowing Jose put a tactical masterclass against us, very possible in a one-off game. Great to see you, good Farang. I've been back for a minute. I've been here every single day for about 3 months now. We're keeping it consistent here on AdamMcKola TV. So if you haven't subscribed yet, I don't know what you're doing. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel right about now. Tomorrow we have got myself live, United Daily Live. Then we've got, I'm going to do a live interview with my friend who's a professional boxer, Raza Hamza. So we're talking about his story, talking about what's coming up in his future, but also he's got a very, very interesting journey behind him. So we'll be doing a live chat with Raza Hamza on here tomorrow as well. It's Rumour Rater Day tomorrow. Wednesday is Master Debaters and United Daily Live. Thursday, Weekly United Daily Live. Friday, Straight Up MUFC, United Daily Live. Saturday, FM 2020 Episode 3, United Daily Live. Sunday, United Daily Live and McKola and Alson's Pod to Nowhere. So how about that? Dewan's watching in Bangladesh at 4 AM. Dewan, you absolute legend. Hope you're doing well. Any tips on keeping sane in lockdown, says Con? Find a book that you've been looking to read or you'd never thought you'd read but you possibly could. Now you've got the time on your hands. Buy a game you never thought you'd be able to get playing, but now you got the time to play. Speak to family. I don't know. There's a lot you can do. Try and learn a new skill if you've got the ability to do so. I know it's hard to try and keep busy, but you'll always find something, even if it's getting your head stuck into Football Manager. It'll get you keeping busy for a few hours. David Parkinson, my brother, I see you in the comments. Apologies if I've missed your question. He says, are we really in lockdown now? I question that myself as well. When I drive to the shop every once a week or once every 5 days or whatever it is, to go and have a look at what's out there, I see people just all over the place, like it's normal. It's mental at the moment. Learning instruments, says Lee. Talitzo to United rumours. I haven't heard this. Let's have a quick Google. So here's the rumour that Vibor was on about in the comments. United working on Corentin Tolisso signing. Listen to this: as Paul Pogba Old Trafford future is unclear. The first paragraph is United are keen to bring Corentin Tolisso to the Premier League this summer. I'm sure we are. United are working on a deal for Bayern Munich midfielder Corentin Tolisso, who fancies a crack at playing in the Premier League. He's spent 3 seasons in Bavaria since coming through Lyon's academy and especially enjoying a 4-year spell in the League One club's first team. The 25-year-old was a member of the France World Cup winning squad in 2018. He cost Bayern Munich 37 million 3 years ago. He's grown and settled, made just 13 appearances last season, and only 7 of those were starts. Bayern aren't going to stand in his way as they look to fund transfers with City's Leroy Sané. So it's looking like Bayern Munich are looking for a buyer for Talizzo. It also goes on to say Inter Milan, Atletico Madrid, Napoli, and a whole host of other clubs are fucking interested in him. We are not going to get Talizzo. Not happening. It's just not happening. Where you get that green Adidas jacket of yours, I'm not sure which jacket you're on about, but probably the Adidas website, my mate. I wouldn't be surprised. Injury prevented us seeing if Ali really fancies him. Plus, he'll be a year older by the time we start playing. Who's that about, mate? Twanzebe. Or were you on about someone else? Not sure. I hope Twanzebe gets another opportunity at United this season. I say another. He never really got one this year because of, obviously, injury. He had a chance. He was kind of in the first team. Well, he was in the first 11 for the Liverpool game. Got injured. Didn't really get back into the squad again. Read a story today that Giggs still works for the club and is a head scout for Ali. I doubt he's getting paid by Manchester United. He wouldn't be able to be employed by 2 clubs. He wouldn't be able to be employed as a manager and a scout. But I have no doubts that he speaks with Ali on a regular basis. They're friends. People within football speak. Ryan Giggs will want United to do well. If he hears of a player or he sees a player excelling that he thinks will be good for United, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is his friend, and he's not in a club job where he would want to buy that player, he's probably going to tell him. Football is a small world, I imagine, once you're in it. And especially when you're 2 United legends like Solskjaer and Giggs. Ross says, I don't rate Tolisso, why would be interested in him? I hear you. You were talking about Twanzebe. He needs a top loan if he goes. I hope he stays and gets a chance, but I hear you. If he goes on loan, a Premier League loan would do, not in the Championship. Yes, Callum, how you doing, mate? Hope you're doing well. Lee says, we did not realise Jimenez was 29. Jimenez has been linked with United again. Hasn't he? It wouldn't be a bad choice as that plan B alternative choice striker. I hate to say plan B because someone like Jimenez isn't always going to be on the bench. But, as an alternative to AdamMcKola, if he was on it and United could get that deal through, it would be a good one, but I just can't see it happening. Medicinal fried chicken, that's a good episode, Mark. I remember that one. That was a good one. Giggs will want to come back to United in some capacity at some point, says T Lights. He'd have to do pretty well at Wales, and after that, I think, to get a job at United in terms of a managerial job. And I don't think he'll step down from a managerial job unless it goes pretty badly for him. Yo, Nimai, how you doing, mate? I'm sure I seen you in the comments earlier saying you came late. I thought you were here early. What's the news on Moussa Dembele? We have obviously heard rumours linking United with Moussa Dembele. The last rumours were he was more interested in joining United than he was in joining Chelsea. But that was when Chelsea and United were battling for everyone, it seemed. Angel Gomez, Moussa Dembele, this, that and the other that week. Everything changes, doesn't it, in the press on a regular basis. Moussa Dembele, though, has been linked with us for an awfully long time. Jimenez wouldn't be any cheaper than 60 mil. No thank you, says Tom. De Gea or Henderson, says Vibor. De Gea, there's no need to rush with Henderson yet. Let Henderson spend another year or 2 at Sheffield United and then bring him back in. I'm excited about his potential. I'm excited about his development, but there's no need to rush things with Dean Henderson, in my opinion. Anyway, can't see Jimenez wanting to sit on our bench, says Sean. Don't see him fitting in, says Callum. He does look class, though. Mo says we should buy Havertz. Kai Havertz is someone that, again, gets linked with us a fair bit, but I never really see anything in it. Like, it's always, Liverpool want Timo Werner and so do United. United are always tagged on like that with Timo Werner and with Kai Havertz. It's annoying. Pardon me, guys. And you know what? Yeah, when you see that in a rumour, when it says Arsenal are targeting player X and United are as well, and it's just United tagged on, you know that the journalist has just put United in there just to get an extra few clicks. And it works for them. But I'm here to click on them articles so you don't have to. Alright, that's what we're doing here. Have you heard any more rumours on Thomas Partey? The last we heard was he was pretty much going to Arsenal and he wanted to go there. There doesn't seem to be, as of yet, any serious interest beyond just scouting him from Man United at the moment. But the latest on him is just linking him with Arsenal. And I'd be disappointed to see him go Arsenal, to be honest. I would be disappointed to see him go Arsenal. He's a good player. It's not the end of the world, obviously. I think United are in a decent position. I think if United did go in for him, it'd go to United over Arsenal. But if Arsenal are in for him, Arsenal are still a big club. And he'd want to go there. No more news on Ighalo's situation at the moment. I imagine we've just got to get something agreed with Shanghai in terms of extending his loan. Up until a point where we can extend his loan, he's not going to complete the season here, that's for sure, because they've got a campaign starting soon as well. And you'd understand why they would want him to go back. It's not their fault that the pandemic's meant that the seasons got delayed. So Shanghai will want him back. They're going to want money off United. Are United going to be willing to pay for him to keep him? Rashford's fit now, you know. Do they think, all right, do we need to pay for him? We've got Rashford back now. Why do we need to buy anyone? Or why do we need Ighalo for the last 9 games? Let's just keep Rashford in the squad, get through the 9 games with what we have, and let's see what happens at the end in the summer, which strikers are available. I could see that being a possibility. I doubt United would want to pull the trigger on a 20 million signing and then, you know, it doesn't go as planned next season. They'll probably want to evaluate it a little bit closer and get a little bit of a closer look at Ighalo, which makes sense. Especially when you consider they're probably thinking now, yo, we can get a next striker for cheap because, I don't know, Moussa Dembele is going to be available for cheap because Lyon are going to need the money. Or, you know, something like that. Monaco might sell Ben Yedder because they need the money. Let's go get him. Or, I don't know, something like that. So they might now be thinking, yo, there's opportunities opening up elsewhere. As ruthless as it is, do we need to be keeping Ighalo? Would he have been a player that we would have signed if he wasn't on loan at us in this situation? So they have to consider that. And if the answer is no, they have to go for someone else. But if we're not going to get somebody else, we have to keep him, in my opinion. He's a good option for a backup. He's a good option for a plan B. I would keep him. That's correct, Mo. I'm not sure who's mentioned it in regards to the Sampdoria and Sporting thing, but the case going to, you know, the Bruno case going to court was in relation to Sporting receiving money from United for the transfer and not paying the percentage that is owed to Sampdoria. So it's nothing to do with Manchester United. Taran, how you doing, mate? Majib, how you doing? We still don't know what's going on with Gomez. The offer's on the table, you believe, from United, but no news yet. Probably looks like he's going to leave. Probably. Samoan, how you doing? You good? Splash the cash and buy Neymar, says Paul. Never going to happen, as funny as it would be. That would be entertaining, wouldn't it? Boil a lot of piss as well. A lot of gas tonight. I don't know what's wrong with me. Not long yet, to be fair, so it probably explains it all. After SPL and League One put players' best interest first, I think this just has proven the number one rule for the Premier League is money. I think that's the case. Ollie is defo signing Bellingham. Hopefully Grealish and Sancho retain Ighalo, but he might think Sancho gives us enough up top, says Mar. I think we'll get Sancho, maybe Bellingham, and maybe one more. I don't think Grealish is going to come. As much as I want him to play for Man United, I don't think Grealish will be here unless Pogba leaves. And I'd be disappointed if that happens, but I don't think Pogba's going to leave, so I don't think we're going to get Jack Grealish. I want Pogba to stay. I also want Jack Grealish, so it's a bittersweet thing. If we end up with both of them next season, I am going to be unbearable. If Man United have got, that is the weekend's German beer. If Man United have got Sancho, Grealish, Pogba, Bruno, all that, I'm going to be fucking unbearable next season. And that is something to look forward to. So guys, thank you for tuning in today. Remember, we will be back at 12 o'clock tomorrow. So make sure you're joining us for United Daily Live. Then we'll have a live stream with myself and professional boxer Raza Hamza. So if you're interested in boxing, or you want to participate in boxing and you want to know more, or you want to know more about Raza's journey, or you want to know more, I don't know, let us know, join us. But even if you're not interested in boxing, Raza's story is special. He's a special talent. Hopefully he gets his opportunity in the next year or two. But his story could be made into a movie. It's incredible. So join us tomorrow for that as well. We've got loads coming up for you tomorrow. Rumour Rater, United Daily Live, and an interview with Raza Hamza. So keep it locked. And for now, I've been AdamMcKola. You lot have been legends. I'm out of here.